This Honorable Sokwo. Okay, he's not here. Honorable Cho Bauer.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, my name is Shehu Barwabeji. I represent the people of Boso, Paikoro Federal Constituency for Niger State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I seek your consideration and permission to present this motion of urgent public importance in compliance with Order 804 of the standing orders. And the issue has to do with the population census. I have come to realize that the NPC is commencing a pilot scheme of housing enumeration. And my area, or most of our constituency, most of our communities in Niger State are ravaged by bandits. Some have been displaced, some are captives. And we across the country, we also understand there are so many communities that have even been displaced beyond the borders of this country. So I'm considering the feasibility of conducting this census at this particular moment.
Any seconder, please. That this matter is urgent enough. Seconder.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Honorable Engineer Joseph Asukubelo is my name, and I have the honor and privilege of representing the great people of Adavi, Okehi Federal Constituency. I am from Kogi State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Shehu. I so second.
That this matter is urgent enough to be taken under matters of urgent public importance. Those who support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Move your motion.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, honorable colleagues. The motion has to do with a motion of urgent public importance, calling on the federal government of Nigeria to suspend the proposed 21 population and housing census to be conducted by the National Population Commission in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The House of Representatives resolved notes that the federal government of Nigeria, through the National Population Commission, has commenced preparation for 2021 population and housing census across the country. Also note that the state of insecurity in Nigeria has displaced numerous citizens and are dwellers of the various communities to be captured in the exercise. Observe that some displaced persons have crossed over to neighboring countries for refuge and cannot be captured in the census if the census is to be conducted. Further, observe that with the overwhelming security challenges at hand, expecting accuracy in any census conducted now will be like passing an elephant through the eyes of a needle. Worried that in this circumstance, a large chunk of Nigerians have fled their homes, while many others are being held under captive by kidnappers. As such, conducting such census without them means infringing on their rights or their constitutional rights. further worries that posting enumerators or ad hoc staff to volatile areas of the nation in the name of conducting census is irrational, as it will be like giving them out to criminals. Cautions that conducting population and housing census in the current economic recession will only waste the hard-earned resources of this country, as the outcome will be inconsequential. Recall that past census conducted had yielded controversial statistics for the nation as a result of partial coverage of the actual population of the country, which we must not be allowed to perpetuate. Further observe that precarious situation that has befallen our nation apparently informs the need to set priorities in governance. Thus, our priority should be tilted towards a lasting solution to the killings, kidnappings, and other criminal activities tormenting the nation. Also note that this Honorable House had in the same vein called on the President to declare a state of emergency on security to avert a possible impending calamity. Emphasize that it is high time we change the narrative of data cooking of our national population, as it threatens the accuracy of our national budgets. Further observe that Nigeria presidential election is envisaged to commence and end within the first quarter of 2023. As such, the whole of the preceding year, 2022 in court, would mostly be about campaigns, which has no room for census activities. Emphasizes that the overlapping effect of active political activities and the national head count shall be prone to political manipulation by over-ambitious politicians. Resolve that the House resolves that this Honorable House calls on the federal government to suspend the upcoming census exercise until security of the country is stabilized. That this Honorable House mandates the relevant committee to inquire into the work plans of the National Population Commission with regards to the census exercise. That the House invites the chairman of the National Population Commission to clarify as to the feasibility of conducting census in the face of insecurity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
Any seconder, please. Seconder. Is that Oga? Second. Is your mic on?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Shehu Saleh Rijau, representing the good people of Rijau Magma Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Okay, so those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Is Honorable Bagos here? Bagos, please see Honorable Shehu. He has a brief for you. Or Shehu, see Honorable Bagos. Bagos, Plateau State. He's not here. Is there another Bagos in the house? No, not Bagos. Okay. We're still on matters of urgent public importance. Honorable Fago. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. Good morning. My name is Honorable Kani Abubakar Fago, member representing the good people of Shira and Giade Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to stand under Order 8, Rule 4, and apply for the suspension of all relevant laws to take the leave of this honorable House and enable me to present my motion under matters of public importance on the need to curb the rampant movement of camels on major roads in Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I so move.
Any seconder? Go ahead, Honorable, from Lagos. Honorable Adebayo.
Mr.
Bashir.
Speaker, honorable members, I am Honorable Adebayo Balogun, member representing Ibeju Lekki Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. I hereby stand to support second the motion ably moved by my colleague Honorable Fago. I so second.
Yeah. Did you already move your motion? Okay, that was just a brief synopsis. Okay, so those who think this matter is urgent enough, please say aye. If this matter is urgent enough to be taken now, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Fago.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Kani Abubakar Fago, member representing the good people of Shira and Giade Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am from Bauchi State. I rise to move an important motion motion on the urgent need to curb the rampant movement of camels on major roads in Bauchi State. The House note that Bauchi State shares a close proximity with the Jigawa State, which is located on the national border with the Republic of Niger. Also note that the Republic of Niger is well known for breeding camels, and due to proximity, camel herders have over the years moved with their camels from Niger to the neighboring Jigawa and Bauchi State, respectively, to source for foods. Aware that many of the animals are left to roam about without anybody controlling them and generally constituting a nuisance to the road users in the northern part of Bauchi State, particularly Shira, Giade, Jama'are, Itas Gadau, Katagum, Zaki, and Gama local government areas of Bauchi State. Worried that there have been several reports over the years of fatal accidents on major roads across Bauchi State resulting from uncontrolled movement of these camels. Also worried that the herders often travel with their camels through illegal routes. Thus, their immigration status is unaccounted for by the Nigerian Immigration Service. Disturbed that the camel herders allegedly smuggle arms and dangerous weapons through illegal routes, which have been used to unleash men on unsuspecting road users and residents of Bauchi State. Further worried that apart from the destruction of lives and properties, the animal also destroys store farm produce and fruit trees, which serve as sources of livelihoods to the residents of Shira, Giade, Jama'are, Itas Gadau, Katagum, Zaki, and Gama local government areas of Bauchi State. Concerned that hoodlums have taken advantage of the strategic position of the camels to continuously unleash mayhem on innocent travelers. Also concerned that the activities of foreign nomads and their camels are a threat to the socio-economic development of the affected areas and could further worsen the volatile security situation in the region. Further concerned that despite the menace they have been causing for several years now, no action has been taken by relevant authorities against them. Cognizant that if urgent steps are not taken to curb the havoc being wreaked by foreign nomads and their camels in Bauchi State, they could have become further emboldened in their nefarious activities, which may lead to a complete breakdown of order and loss of too many lives and properties. Resolve, urge the Federal Ministry of Interior to take cogent steps to secure the nation's international borders by ensuring that the influx of foreigners through land borders is adequately controlled. Also urge the Federal Road Safety Code to ensure the safety of road users in Bauchi and Jigawa State by, among other things, ensuring that camels and other animals are taken off the road. And finally, mandate the committees on Federal Road Safety Commission and Interior to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, sir, I so submit. Thank you.
Honorable Halims. Halims. It's not here. Okay. Your mic. Press your mic now, so I can let you in.
Okay, so.
Let me cover my.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafu Norogo Nam Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to support the motion assembly moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The last motion for today, Honorable Wheeler. Honorable Wheeler, we stepped yours down yesterday for today, so go ahead. No, he knows what to do.
Even if he doesn't talk, even if he doesn't go to the radio
Mr. Speaker, my very honorable colleagues, my name is Mark Tese Gbila. I represent Gwe East, Gwe West Federal Constituency of Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I rise on Order 8, Rule 4, on an issue regarding the resurgence of wanton killing of innocent Nigerians in Gwe West and other local government areas of Benue State by suspected herdsmen. Mr. Speaker, I want to move that this matter be considered as urgent, and considering our provisions to take 2 rules per day, I want to ask that we suspend our relevant rules to allow me move this matter immediately. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so there are 2 applications on the floor. First, that we suspend our rules to allow Honorable Wheeler to take a third matter. Those in who's going to second that motion to suspend our rules? Honorable Benson.
Mr. Speaker, I remain Honorable Babajimi Benson. I represent the good people of the Ikorodu Federal Constituency. I rise to support the motion that we suspend our rules to enable Honorable Bila move his motion. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you think we should suspend it? Is it urgent enough? Honorable Benson. Honorable Benson, put on your mic.
Nigeria.
What is his motion that you want us to suspend our rules for? What is it?
It says there are killings in community in Benue State. And if we don't allow Mr. Bila move the motion, sir, he will go to all the press houses to report us, sir.
That's the very reason why we shouldn't allow it. If that is, the house cannot be put under threat. That's not going to happen. That's the very reason you just killed his motion.
I withdraw that statement, sir.
All right. So that's that we suspend our rules. Let me take that question, and then we'll go to. I hope I got this right, and then we'll go to the second leg. Yes. Those in support that the motion is urgent enough to for us to suspend our rules and allow a third matter, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, I think that has overtaken it because it means that it's urgent. Yes. Okay. Honorable Wheeler.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My very honorable colleagues, I rise to raise a motion on the resurgence of wanton killing of innocent Nigerians in Gwe West and other local government areas of Benue State by suspected herdsmen. The House is alarmed at the brutal murder of 17 innocent Nigerians by suspected herdsmen in Bamondu village, Vengav,
in Avihijime Ward of Gwe West Local Government Area of Benue State on Sunday, May 2nd, 2021, and the recent apparent resurgence in the murder of innocent, helpless Nigerians by suspected herdsmen in Gwe West, Guma, Makudi, and Agatu local government areas of Benue State, where over 70 people have been murdered in the last 3 weeks, with over 30 people murdered in Gwe West local government alone in that same period. The House is concerned about the seeming inability of Operation Wellstroke operatives stationed in Gwe West local government area and other security agencies in the area to counter the current guerrilla tactics of these attackers, immediately respond to distress calls by the victims, proactively prevent these attacks, and identify or apprehend even one of these murderers in the last 3 weeks who are suspected to be exacting vengeance on innocent citizens in Benue because of their displeasure with the Benue State government's enforcement of the anti-open grazing law, which is a legitimate constitutional legislation that other agencies are alleged not to be supporting the state government with implementation and enforcement of. The House is worried at the thousands of internally displaced persons who have fled their homes as a result of these attacks and are currently seeking refuge in very unsanitary and uncovered schools and locations in different parts of the state without any means of sustenance, shelter, or protection, and are at the mercy of inclement weather and likelihood of further attacks by the suspected herdsmen. The House is also worried at the increasing number of IDPs these attacks have created, in addition to the hundreds of thousands of IDPs already existing across Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states, who for several years have been unable to return to their homes, and neither have they been resettled, but are languishing in inhuman conditions with increasing cases of loss of lives from malnourishment and disease, which have enhanced maternal and infant mortality in circumstances where children have been born for over 5 years without access to education or proper medical care. The House resolves to ask the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to immediately provide relief materials to affected communities and IDPs in Gwe West local government area and other affected local government areas in Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states, which should include food items, clothing, building materials, temporary shelter, and health intervention, and mandate the House Committees on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness and internally displaced persons to ensure compliance. The House resolves to mandate the House Committees on Emergency and Disaster Preparedness and Appropriation to prevail on the Budget Office and NEMA to ensure adequate extra allocation is provided in any impending supplementary budget and in NEMA 2022 budget to enable NEMA provide monthly comprehensive intervention to IDP camps across Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states, as is currently the case with IDP camps in the Northeast. The House also resolves to request the Defense Ministry and Nigerian Army to immediately deploy more personnel and equipment, including surveillance and intelligence gathering technology, to Operation Wellstroke operatives in Benue State to enable them tackle this resurgence of attacks by suspected herdsmen, and mandate the House Committees on Defense and Army to ensure compliance. The House also resolves to mandate the House Committees on Defense and Army to immediately conduct an investigation into the prevailing circumstances and conditions of Operation Wildstroke and other military operatives across the country with a view to identify any constraint deterring them from carrying out their mandate of protecting the lives and property of Nigerian people, and report back to the House in 4 weeks. The House also mandates the House Committee on Police Affairs and Justice to investigate the allegation that security agencies are unwilling to support the Benue State government in the enforcement of the anti-open grazing law and the constitutional implication and position in this regard, and report back to the House in 4 weeks. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the House resolves to ask the federal government to immediately intervene in the plight of IDPs across Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states with a view to returning them to their homes or resettling them, reconstruction of damaged communities, and provision of educational, health, and other required facilities in line with the pronouncement by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in Benue State on 18 May 2018, that 10 billion naira have been approved by the President for reconstruction and resettlement of communities in Nigeria ravaged by herdsmen attacks. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Chidoka.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Obinna Chidoka, member representing Idemili North, Idemili South Federal Constituency of Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to support the motion, which is very urgent, cogent, verifiable, moved by my colleague, Right Honorable Mark Billa. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
So I'll just put the question. Huh? Amendment? Okay, Honorable Woody, what's your amendment? For amendment is to review, to extend it to all IDPs in Nigeria, not just...
The budget he said for the IDPs in Taraba, Benue, and Nasarawa should include all IDPs in Nigeria. That's my, instead of only 3 states IDPs.
Any seconder? Honorable Munir. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honourable members, the first business of the day is presentation of report on the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to amend the Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act, Cap 010, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to provide for establishment of orthopedic hospitals Benin, Edo State, and Jalingo, Taraba State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Pascal Obi. Is Honorable Pascal here? Because he was not here yesterday. Chairman, business. Chairman, business and rules. Okay, Honorable Pascal is not here. The matter has stepped down. Second business of the day is presentation of the interim report of the ad hoc committee on the assessment and status of recovered loots, movable and immovable assets from 2002 to 2020 by agencies of Federal Government of Nigeria for effective, efficient management and utilization, standing in the name of Honorable Adeogun. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Thursday, 2nd July 2020. Honorable Adeogun is invited to present the report. Honorable Adeogun here.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain...
Honorable Ken, you are taking it for him? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Honorable colleagues, I remain Lawal Abdullahi Chanchan. I represent the good people of Gwale Federal Constituency, Kano State.
Yes, Honorable Blessing, you want a second, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Blessing Onyeche Onu, and I represent the good people of Otiko Ohimini Federal Constituency. I am from Benue State. I rise to second the motion moved by my honorable colleague. I so second. And the report. I rise to second that the report be laid. I so second.
Yeah, those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Kenke, please lay the report. Just leave them here. I'll go through it. Just. The first order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Federal Colleges of Education Act, Cap F8, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to establish Federal College of Education, Baure, Katsina State, for the purpose of providing qualitative education in science, arts, and other technical knowledge, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Nasiru Sani Zangodara. Our members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 4th March 2020. I now invite Honorable Dara to move that the bill be read a second time. Honorable Sonny Zagoda, go ahead. Unfortunately, there's a technical hitch, but go ahead.
I'm from Katsina State. I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Federal Colleges of Education Act, Cap F8, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, to establish the Federal College of Education Technical, Aure, Katsina State, for the purpose of providing qualitative education in sciences, arts, and other technical knowledge, and for related matters to be read for the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Leke, the mics are not working. Just go ahead. On tertiary education. Second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of National Hospital, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, to provide for the composition, administration, and functions of the Hospital Management Board, and for related matters standing in the name of Honorable Ken Chikere. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 21st July 2020, and I invite Honorable Chikere to move that the bill be read a second time.
My name is Ken Chikere. I represent the people of the Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 1. I'm from Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of National Hospital, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, to provide for its composition, administration, and functions of the Hospital Management Board, and for related matters, be read a second time. I so move. Eventually came in.
Seconder.
Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Honorable B. Uchenna Eke. Mr. Speaker, I represent the good people of Abon Bise Ngobala Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for establishment of National Hospital, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, to provide for its composition, administration, and functions of the Hospital Management Board, and for related matters. Second reading.
The bill is referred to the Committee on Health Institutions. Third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Operations and Supply Chain Professionals to be charged with responsibility for registration, discipline of its members, regulate and control the practice of operations, management and supply chain management profession, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Fred Agbedi. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 29th of September 2020, and I invite Honorable Agbedi to move that the bill be read a second time. Fred, I don't think he's here. He's not here today. Chairman of Business, please step down Honorable Fred Agbedi is not here.
Honorable Ken is not around, he's not on the floor. I move that the bill be stepped down by the leader of the House. I so move.
Bill step down. Fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for the legal framework to establish Federal Medical Center, Elisha, Baruba, Kwara State, and for related matters standing in the name of Honorable Mohammed Omar Bio. Other members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 26th of November 2019, and I invite Honorable Bio to move that the bill be now read a second time. Chairman, we have to quicken our process. This bill was read for the first time November 2019, and we're in May 2021, and it's just coming up for second reading. So I think we need to figure out how to fast track some of these things. That's almost 2 years for a bill to come to the second reading. So, is Honorable Bio here? Yeah, go ahead.
His Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, I speak for all the people of Barutin and Kaima Federal Constituency. I come from Kwara State. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I move that a bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish a federal medical center, Elisha Baruba, Kwara State, and for related matters, HB 509, be read for the second time.
Thank you. Honorable Kumo. Honorable Kumo.
Honorable Usman Bello Kumo is my name. I rise to second the motion as moved. The bill as heavily moved. I so second.
Which bill? Whose bill is it? Whose bill? Huh? Whose bill? Don't check the name now. Whose bill is it? You are supporting somebody, you are seconding somebody's bill. Who?
Yeah, there's somebody, sir.
All right. I think it's straightforward. Your bill has been in the corridors for almost 2 years. So we'll just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish Federal Medical Center, Elisha Baruba, Kwara State, and for related matters, second reading.
Okay, the bill is referred to the Committee on Health Institutions. Honorable colleagues, there was a slight error, clerk, yesterday in referral on the SIP, bill that we took yesterday. Put the bill together. So we'll go to poverty and the fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery. Obuofia and Okunano. Enugu State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Noli Naji. Honorable members, recall that the bill was read, that the bill be read a second time. Honorable Noli, go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, I'm Noli Naji. I represent the Kano East West Federal Constituency. I'm from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I rise to move for a bill and act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Obofia Okunano, Enugu State, and for related matters, HB 1157, be read for the second time. I so moved.
Honorable Maki, is he here? Good, okay. Who's seconding Honorable Noli's bill? Your leader wants to second your bill. Honorable Elumelu.
By God I serve. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimilifera constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion for a bill to be so read the second time, moved by Honorable Noli. I so second.
Honorable Noli, straightforward. Put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Ubuofia Okunano, Enugu State, and for related matters. Second reading.
The sixth order of the day, the bill is referred to the Committee on Health Institutions. The sixth order of the day is a motion on discharge of ad hoc committees pursuant to Order 18, Rule 3, Sub-Rule 1, Paragraph G of the Standing Order of the House of Representatives, standing in the name of Honorable Abubakar Hassan Fulata. Honorable Fulata is invited to move the motion.
I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krika Sama, Guri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, discharge of under-mentioned ad hoc committees pursuant to Order 18, Rule 3(1)G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives. House notes. The ad hoc committees are as follows. 1. Ad hoc committee to interface with executive arm of government and Islamic movements of Nigeria, Shiite. 2. Ad hoc committee to investigate the assault and rape of students by teachers at the FCT School of the Blind, Jabi. 3. Ad hoc committee to investigate crude oil theft in Nigeria. 4. Ad hoc committee on alleged negligence by the Federal Ministries of Justice and Petroleum Resources in the handling of the federal government under the process and industrial development P&ID Limited. 5. Ad hoc committee to investigate oil spill cleanup and remediation in the oil producing states. 6. Ad hoc committee on the recent global crash in oil price of crude oil on the Appropriation Act 2020. 7. Ad hoc committee to investigate the non-inclusion of waste management and disposal in the LNG Train 7 project. 8. Ad hoc committee to investigate the financial budgetary provisions, approvals, and multilateral donations on skills and acquisition and related programs of the federal government and its agencies. 9. Ad hoc committee on power sector reform. 10. Ad hoc committee on the need to review the purchase, use, and control of arms, ammunition, and related hardware by military, paramilitary, and law enforcement agencies in Nigeria. House notes that the ad hoc committees listed above were constituted to carry out various assignments and were given stipulated time frame within which to present their reports. Also note that the committees are yet to present their reports contrary to the provisions of Order 8, Rule 3.1g of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives. Aware of the directive of Honorable Speaker on 26 April 2021 that all ad hoc committees should present their reports on or before 30th of April 2021. Resolved to discharge the ad hoc committees of the assignments and commit them to the committee of the whole or any other committee as may be constituted. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Who's raising a point of order? What's your point of order?
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name still remains Honorable B. Uchenna Eke. I represent Abombise Ngabala Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I come order 6, order of privilege. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the ad hoc committee number 10 as listed by the chairman, Honorable Fulata. I'm aware I'm a member, not the chairman, but I'm a member of that committee. Mr. Speaker, as I talk to you, most of us have signed the interim report of that committee. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, if you discharge it, the meaning is that we cannot come up with that report. And this committee is a very sensitive committee. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with you and the entire House, by your leave, that you give us up to tomorrow to submit our interim report. That will help the House, and that will also help the country, Nigeria. Thank you.
The fact of your discharge does not preclude you from submitting your report. So you can go ahead and submit your interim report tomorrow. Nothing stops that. It doesn't change the fact that the committee is discharged according to our rules. Let me very quickly, but who's seconding the motion? As moved by Honorable. Okay, is that Honorable Lododo?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Olododo Cook Abdul Ghani. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I ever second the motion of my chairman. I so move. I so second.
Chairman, is it all the committees that you listed? Because I remember there's a committee that was led by our late colleague Honorable O.C. Prestige that only just started.
We did a motion yesterday, and the House carried the motion that it be exempted because the chairman passed on, and then a new chairman was appointed. They didn't get any time to do any work, and therefore, based on the fact that the chairman of the committee, O.C. Prestige, is no more, and they have not been able to do anything, we did a motion yesterday, and it was carried that the House excuse that committee.
There was also another committee that only started work last week.
Yeah, there are two other committees.
Two others are here.
Yes. Ad hoc committee to investigate the governing list of federal government-owned assets, and ad hoc committee to investigate the failure of ministries, departments, and agencies MDS to release retention funds. These were just inaugurated last week, and they are also exempted.
So they're exempted.
Yes.
Okay. So we put the motion has been seconded. Those in support, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, let me just very quickly read out the provisions as referred to by the chairman, Business and Rules. And that is on page 106 of your rules, Order 18, Rule 3(1)G. Limitation as to the time of reports. Any matter referred to a committee shall be treated within 30 days. Otherwise, the committee shall stand discharged after 60 days, except upon a motion for extension of time, which shall not exceed 15 days. And the matter committed to the committee of the whole or any other committee as the Speaker may decide from time to time. So, honorable members, please listen carefully so that you understand what the House is doing. An ad hoc committee is not a standing committee. Some of our ad hoc committees have become standing committees 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. It doesn't work like that. And I'll read it out again for avoidance of doubt and for clarity. Any matter referred to a committee shall be treated within 30 days. Otherwise, the committee shall stand discharged after 60 days, except upon a motion for extension of time, which shall not exceed 15 days. So even if you bring a motion for extension of time, it cannot exceed 15 days. And the matter shall be committed to the committee of the whole or any other committee as the Speaker may decide from time to time. So those other committees stand discharged of their functions. Those who have not submitted their reports should please go ahead and do so. And in that regard, all standing committees, now we're talking about standing committees now, not ad hoc committees. All standing committees are requested to submit their reports on motions referred to them on or before the 25th of May, 2021. Failing which the House may invoke the provisions of Order 18, Rule 3(1)G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives to accordingly discharge the committees. So we've dealt with the ad hoc committees now. The standing committees, please, by May 25th, all matters referred to you should be submitted before or by May 25th, 2021. Otherwise, we'll have to apply the rules. Who has a personal explanation? Leader of the minority, you have a personal explanation? What's your personal explanation?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimili Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, let me appreciate the fact that you want our committees to be up and doing in terms of being able to receive the job given to them and, of course, discharge it as soon as possible. But let me also draw the attention of the House that one of the key problems that these committees are facing is to the effect that the account department is not releasing the funds meant for them to carry out their public hearing. And that has tremendously affected them. And that is resulting in these delays that some of them are having in terms of being able to have the public hearing and also sit as a committee and thereafter come up with their report. So I will also plead that you use your office to please talk to the account department or the clerk of the House to see that they judiciously dispense with this request that those committees are agitating for. That's my personal explanation.
Thank you, Honorable Lumelu. We're all aware of the situation and the financial constraints of the House as an institution. You are aware that there's a certain amount in the budget of the House for public hearings and investigative hearings. It's not unlimited. So when you have 100 motions, for instance, there's no way, and it's impossible, virtually impossible. So the accounts department cannot give you what they don't have. The budget of the House is released on a monthly basis, and it cannot even take care of more than 10, 12, 13, can't take care of more than 10. So, and I don't believe, no, it's not that there's no more, I don't believe that every motion requires a public hearing. Not every motion requires a public hearing. Not every motion requires, funding to do work. You do your work quietly, and you present your report. We're limited as to the funds available to the House, and that is very, but much as I appreciate the point. So, we'll move on to the next item. The sixth order of the day, or rather the seventh order of the day, is a motion on recession on the referral of a bill for an act to repeal the Advertising Practitioners Act and enact the Advertising Practitioners Bill, standing in the name of Honorable Abubakar Hassan Fulata. Honorable Fulata is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Kirika, Sama, Guri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jirao State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, decision on referral of a bill for an act to repeal the Advertising Practitioners Act and enact the Advertising Practitioners Bill 2021, HB 137 and 518. House notes that on 23rd of March 2021, a bill to repeal and enact the Advertising Practitioners Bill was read a second time and was referred to the Committee on Commerce for further legislative action. Also note that the bill relates to an apex regulatory authority for the Nigerian advertising profession and practice for the regulation and control of profession and business advertising, and therefore erroneously assumed to be under the jurisdiction of the Committee on Commerce. Aware that the Advertising Practitioners Council, which the bill seeks to regulate, is within the purview of the Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values, resolves to rescind its decision on the Advertising Practitioners Bill and commit same to the Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Oluga.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, Taiwo Oluga is my name from Osun State. I speak for the people of Irewole Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Eighth order of the day is a motion on need to curb fishing by foreign vessels on Nigeria's territorial waters, standing in the name of Honorable Patrick Ifon. Honorable Ifon is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Patrick Ifon. I represent all the people from Eket, Eket, Ibno, and Ona Federal Constituency. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the need to curb fishing by foreign vessels on Nigeria's territorial waters. The House notes that fish is one of the healthiest food on the planet, as it contains nutrients such as vitamin D, that is a great source of omega-3, folic acid, which is important for body and brain development, thereby contributing about 40% of the country's protein intake. Aware that Nigeria as a nation with large coastal area is rich in marine species, Yet, over half of fish being consumed are imported from China and Netherlands, thus placing Nigeria's production of fish at 759.828 metric tons annually, according to the report of World Fish Center in 2017. Also aware that Nigeria is the fourth largest imported population of over 200 million people. Worried that Nigeria loses a whopping sum of $70 million annually to Chinese and other European trawlers due to illegal fishing activities in the nation's waters, as observed by the Nigerian Navy in 2017. Also worried that despite Nigerian non-fishing agreement and arrangements with distant nations such as China and the European Union, illegal fishing on Nigerian waters persists due to bilateral agreements with nearby country of Sao Tome and Principe. Concerned by the Overseas Development Institute's report of 2018 that illegal fishing boats from China,
Chief Whip.
Netherlands, and
sorry, 1 second. Chief Whip, what happens in the situation where your deputy is not allowing me to follow the bill? Chief Whip, I'm trying to follow the bill, but your deputy is not. So,
Deputy Chief Whip, please take your seat. Resume your seat, Deputy Chief Whip.
he said, please. He was polite. He said, please. Go ahead, Honorable Ford.
Concerned by the Overseas Development Institute's report of 2018 that illegal fishing boats from China, Netherlands, and Spain operating in the country's territorial waters commonly transfer catches from their trawlers into container and cargo vessels on the high seas, thereby...
Chief Whip, the minority leader is coming.
Please go back, minority leader, please.
Thereby flouting quota regulations. Also concerned that the Gulf of Guinea Commission, which was established in 2001 to check issues bordering on fisheries beyond 20 nautical miles of each member nation, is yet to come up with a legally binding framework to tackle illegal fishing activities. Further concerned that illegal on territorial waters degrades the coastal communities and renders artisan fishermen.
I have immunity. You can't have immunity. I can't.
Nigerian Navy and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency in the waters. Also urge the federal government to review its licensing and encourage indigenous investments into these agricultural fishing in the region. Finally, mandate the committee on...
We'll get a second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my
fishing by foreign vessels in Nigeria. No, but it doesn't work like that. It's okay, it's straightforward. Like everybody wanted to speak for.
There's actually nothing to enforce.
You said you had a point of.
Yes, sir,
read
yes,
out.
sir.
Read out. Please read out the order on personal explanation, please.
Page 32. By the indulgence of the, although there may be no question before the House, but no controversial matter may be brought forward or may debate arise upon the explanations. Mr. Speaker, it's not controversial.
Is that the...
This order subsists, Mr. Speaker, so that I will be able to say exactly what I want to explain for you, my colleagues, and Nigerians to take note. I would have finished what I wanted to say by now, Mr. Speaker.
Clark.
Mr. Speaker, there's actually nothing to
Hold on a
enforce, like
second.
I was saying.
Hold on a second. Well, you're trying to force a debate.
I'm not debating, sir. I'm
No,
only
no,
explaining
no, no.
what.
I've already ruled on the matter, number one, and this is not a personal explanation issue. I've already ruled on the matter. The under our rules, the mover of the motion leads the debate.
Yes,
It leads the debate, and we have not. Please,
if it's so
can
desired,
you?
sir.
Do you mind? He's not leading the debate because he's not been allowed to lead the debate because it's a straightforward motion. In the interest of time, we have put the question. The matter has been put to rest. Okay, we've done that. We're going to the ninth order of the day. Is a motion on need to address complaints surrounding online learning platform of the University of Lagos, standing in the name of
Our federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to move a motion on the need to address complaints on embrace and pioneer e-learning through its e-learning management system. Aware that the dreaded coronavirus pandemic has forced numerous changes in the systems and workings of the country online learning. Concerned that the launch of e-learning platform has been of test results fails on the platform or correct answers marked as being wrong, while some cannot access the platform to take the test, which makes the students feel that they are being set up for failure. Aware that the advent of the online learning system was to make learning easier and not to frustrate the students' efforts or have lecturers completely abandon their duties of educating students. Convinced that failure to address the challenges with the platform would make students view education as cumbersome, discouraging and stressful, which is capable of undermining the nation's educational development. Also convinced that the university should devise ways of addressing the matter by allowing for provisional tests to be taken in a way that will ensure a fair chance for all students before their final grading and also make online learning more appealing and exciting to students. Mr. Speaker, the House resolves to 1, urge the management of the University of Lagos to provide provisional solutions that will enable the students and lecturers to ease into the online learning system, even if it means adopting a blended system while following all COVID-19 protocols strictly. 2, also urge the management of the university to ensure that the online learning system is well tested and meets the minimum standard of what is obtainable in other jurisdictions where the system is a preferred choice. 3, further urge the management of the university to ensure that lecturers are continually trained on utilizing these new methods to make learning more effective. And finally, Mr. Speaker, number 5, mandate the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services to ensure implementation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Michela.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I remain Honorable Dr. Haruna Michelia. I represent all the people of Askara Bahawul Federal Constituency of Borno State. I stand, Your Excellency, to second the motion ably moved by the Chairman, Governmental Affairs. I so second.
Okay, those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 10th order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the implementation of the National Social. Honorable Yeleman here. Please step down.
He stepped down by the leave of the House. I so move.
Motion step down. 11th order of the day is a motion on urgent need to provide perimeter fencing. What have we decided on this motion? All right, Prof. Are we taking it? What was the decision?
I have been advised that the money dimension of this will frighten certain interests and that we should repackage it. So we will repackage it and bring it back.
You repackage it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you don't want to take it and remove that part of it, or you just redo it altogether? You rework it, okay.
We'll redo it all together.
Okay, so we'll step it down till you represent. The 12th order of the day is a motion on urgent need in addressing the devastating gully erosion in local Goma constituency community in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, standing in the name of Honorable Jiba Johanna. Honorable Johanna is advised to move the motion.
Honorable Speaker, my Honorable Federal Constituency FCT, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abuja. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the motion on urgent need to address the devastating gully erosion in Lokogoma community in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The House notes that Lokogoma community in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, is affected by. Recall that sometime in 2017, lasted for about 4 hours, submerged a bridge and a vehicle conveying a 3-member of the family playing the road. Worried that Kenneth Nwogu, a 49 years father, purportedly died in the canal while trying to rescue the daughter and son, Mr. Speaker. Also recall, the tragedy was due to the absence of the infrastructure like good road network, buried bridge, good drainage system, which will have channeled to heavy flood and that avoiding the large-scale erosion. Away, the estate within Lokogoma community of the Federal Capital Territory are being threatened by gold erosion, where the life and the residents of the estate.
Any second up, the Honorable Chief Whip.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marche Monguno, Ganza Federal Constituency of Borno State. I second the motion ably moved by our landlord, the member representing Abuja Municipal. I so second.
Thank you. It's a disaster motion. I'll put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 13th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to provide the establishment of Federal University of Agriculture, Dadinkowa, Gombe State, to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 4th February 2020. Honorable Yunusa will move for its consideration.
Is even on. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. I stand to move. I am Abubakar Yunus Ahmed, a member representing Yamal Tudeba Federal Constituency. I am from Gombe State, the jewel in the savannah, and the newest discovered oil producing state. Stand before you that a bill for an act to provide for establishment of federal Do I take it all over again? No. Carry on where you are. To provide for the provisions of his due management and administration and for related matters to be considered. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Blessing again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I am Blessing Onyeche Unu, and I represent agriculture be considered. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 14th order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Sabongida, Langtang, to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters. 2019, Honorable Benilar will move for its consideration.
I am Benilar, represent Langtang North and South. I stand. May I move for the consideration of the report of the bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Sabongida, Langtang, to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 15th order of the day is consideration of a report for the Committee on Health on a bill for an act to amend the Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act, Cap 01001, Cap 010, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to provide for establishment of orthopedic hospitals, Benin, Edo State, and Jalingo, Taraba State, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Wednesday, 5th March 2021. Okay, Honorable Pascal is not here. Yeah. So, step down. Deputy House Leader, please move that the House do resolve into the Committee of the Whole to consider the report. Where's the Deputy Speaker? Yeah, so get the Deputy Speaker.
Thank you very much, Prof. Akukwedu Federal Constituency. I move that the House resolve to Committee of Whole to consider a report.
That the House do resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider the various reports.
So before I put the question, we'll just wait a couple of minutes. Can somebody get the Deputy Speaker, please? So we can revert to Committee of the Whole. Chairman Interparliamentary. Let speaker is back. Those in favor that we resolve to committee of the whole, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Yes.
How many votes? Two. Are you protesting? Are you protesting? Respected colleagues, the report to be considered is that of for an act to establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Dadinkowa, Gombe State, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. Is it for the committee of the whole? Honorable Inside is invited to give the synopsis of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and distinguished colleagues. This bill that is about to be considered, we could recall it is a continuation of business from previous assembly to another under our order 12 Rule 16. And the bill is so simple, so that it's just like an upgrade, just changing the nomenclature, because there exists, and it is existing, and it's very functional, Federal College of Horticulture, with their provost, with the relevant qualification. In fact, the immediate past provost was a professor, and she is also a visiting member of a lot of other agricultural institutions. This committee by this NUC, what do you call it? Anyway, committee of accreditation. So she's a national panelist for accreditation. So the present provost also, he is an associate professor. And we have a lot of professors as lecturers, PhDs, and the rest. So in terms of manpower, I think the only thing is probably the structure. Probably the chancellor, because the vice chancellor can just be upgraded, just the chancellor, the pro-chancellor, and probably the VC, DVC, all ever will be found there. So I'm trying to say that funding-wise, in terms of personnel management, is very, very less because it's not a newly established institution. Secondly, the structures that exist, because it is an HND and postgraduate diploma awarding institution. Presently, it has existed for more than 20 years, and it has been producing middle-class manpower. It has all the existing structures, lecture hall, everything, that even if nothing is added, it can accommodate the upgrade of our university. Thirdly, we have over 6,000 or 600,000 hectares of land uncultivated. The famous veg fruit farm and all the surrounding. Presently, RIFAN, Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, with, 6,000?
You said 600,000 hectares.
I think it's almost around that.
600,000?
Yes. Let me prove a point. Let me prove a point. It's not the entire of Gombisa. Because that's why I'm now to put out that the CBN anchor borrower through the refund members are presently cultivating not less than 20,000 hectares in that area along the river Gongola. Even my constituent has been given 9,000 hectares presently. So whatever, but the point I'm trying to depose here is that we have land vast to practice agriculture. Besides, in the whole of the Northeast, we don't have an existing University of Agriculture in that zone. And everybody knows, but for the Boko Haram devastation, Borno State and Gombe State, Taraba State, and which other state has been the food basket of that region? Edo State is the south, my leader. So what I'm trying to say here is that the monetary aspect of that in terms of infrastructure, both for training and agricultural activities.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I call upon my colleagues, Mr. Chair, to please allow us go through the synopsis of the bill and then help consider it. Thank you, sir.
Well, maybe before you take a seat, you say this is an established institution. Was there a law supporting the establishment of that institution that you want now to have it as an upgrade by the federal, an act, a law is backing it?
Yeah, thank you, sir. There was an act establishing the Federal College of Horticulture. It has been established by, I think it's a military decree, so which was subsequently adopted. Initially, when we came here, we were thinking of, when I came by the bill, we came just to upgrade. It's just like an upgrade of the federal.
If you have such law and you want it upgraded, it is from that law that you are supposed to now refer to it and then make the changes they are supposed to make. And then it will repeal and enact. That should have been the ideal thing. But this is like a new establishment law. So I will beg of you, who have taken your briefs, maybe try and clean it up, look for that law, establishing it, and then repeal and reenact. Then we'll come back and consider it for you. That's what's supposed to be done. Yes, Chairman, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think some of these colleges, they are just being created by the executive fiat. They don't have, most of the colleges of agriculture, they don't have enabling law. It's now that we are trying to put them in order. Like Kano and Datunku, I'm sure Datunku doesn't have an act.
Chairman, don't contradict the mover. That's why I asked him. And he has clearly said there is an act establishing that institution. A decree. And they are now acts of the parliament. So if you want to do that one, so that to avoid return of the bill, the executive will return this bill because we didn't do the right thing. And the right procedure, if you have a law established in any institution, is to repeal and enact. You want to contradict me?
Thank you very much, sir. I think I want to just beg of the entire House, sir, since it has passed first, second reading, I think this proposal you are making is supposed to be in the second reading. So I think now, since it has come to committee of whole to consider it, let's consider it now. So
the committee of the whole is here to do the needful. And doing the needful meaning you have to dot the teeth and the eyes and ensure whatever you are sending out stand the test of the time. Thank you. He is the one that said there is already a law establishing. And for his own briefing, I am with him 100%. We need to upgrade institution. We need to establish that kind of institution established for the region. I don't have any query over it. Thank you. If you are the one who wants him to go and suffer, okay. Open. Thank you.
Okay.
Respected colleagues, the next report to be bill consideration stepped down by the leader of the House for further legislative actions. I don't know, it will go all these stages and respected colleagues, the next bill is bill for the establishment of Federal University of Agriculture, Sabangida, Langtan, to make comprehensive provision for the due management and administration of related matters. I now invite Honorable Benila to give us a synopsis of the bill. He should make amends. Benny, I say he should make amends. We are neighbor. Give us a synopsis of the bill, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Benny La. I represent Langtan North and South Federal Constituency. Mr. Chairman, the synopsis of the bill is very straightforward. It's the same as with any other University of Agriculture, which is to create a learning center that will provide diplomas, degrees, and other certificates of diplomas, degrees, postgraduate research, higher degrees in agricultural research and sciences. Mr. Chairman, one of the key objectives of this university, if established, will be to harness the agricultural potential of Plateau State and the North Central. As you're well aware, you and I come from a region, Langtang and Wasi. We're next door neighbors. We come from a region where we can feed the whole of Nigeria with just the agricultural potential we have. This bill passed in 2019 and is being brought before the House. My colleagues, Mr. Chairman, I urge that we please pass and consider this bill and pass it again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Maybe further to it, this is one of the bills that was carried from the preceding house, I believe so. Thank you. That's why it's referred to committee of the whole. Thank you. It's not it is not a new, it is a new established, not. Thank you. Respected colleagues, clause 1. Clause 3.